So, Stuart, lovely to sit down and chat. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Looking forward to this.
Yes, wonderful. So, just a bit of an introduction to everybody who doesn't know your role at the club. Could you just start off by telling us a bit about yourself and the role here that you do?
Yeah, so I'm exec chef for Blackburn Rovers Football Club, which takes into account Ewood Park, the senior training ground, and the academy. So all things culinary obviously fall at my door. So yeah, it's busy, busy, busy. I've worked for numerous companies, looking after university business. So I've done some of the biggest universities in the UK, business and industry, hotels. Previously to Blackburn, obviously, I was at Man City, as many of you know. But this is a challenge. This was exciting, and coming to Blackburn and a family feel at a club was a real pull for me, I guess.
Since joining the club, what sort of changes are you wanting to implement to the menu?
Well, I think when I took over, obviously we're pretty much a year now. I was lucky enough to come to the QPR game last season, with nobody knowing who I was and being able to have a look at round and look at where the catering was. And obviously we were able to agree me joining the club. And I think for me, it's all about fresh, local food that tastes amazing and looks amazing at the same time. But we want to do it with some passion. And what I mean by passion is we want to do it with a smile. We want to do it laughing and joking and making sure everybody's involved in it. So we are very much try and get out the front. We try and get to speak to people. You know yourself, you see me on match days. I try and speak to the kids, the adults, because they're our biggest critics. And if they can tell us what we're doing wrong or what we're doing right, we know that we're going down the right direction. So yeah, it's nice. All good fun, and we have to do that to cook from the heart, really.
I hear as well that you're trying to limit the wastage for food. So things such as the stalks and stems that you're really pushing for this season.
Cool. I'm really glad you brought that up. So obviously we've introduced our new salad bar in Prem 95 Lounge this year. For us, obviously just doing a simple salad bar is one thing, but the stalks and stems came about by we throw so much food away. And that's general food, food that's going out of date, but we throw so much away, the stalks and the stems and the leaves of all these lovely products that you can cook. And obviously roasting off cauliflower leaves and doing sesame broccoli stalks and pickling cauliflower. It's just something, they're really nutritious. They're really good. They're really flavoursome. We eat the pickled cauliflower stalks like they're crisps, because they just really are moreish once you start eating them. And what we're trying to do is, especially the children, certainly in the lounge, we'll have 20, 30, 40 children in this game for Ipswich coming up. And I think trying to get them, just try one piece. And if we can get one or two of those children eating it and go back to mum and dad and say, this is really cool, you might save a little bit of money. You might not, but you might.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about.
Try new things as well.
Of course. And what we're as chefs, we want to try new things. We are not closed shop. If we can find something that nobody's doing, we'll give it a go once. We have this weekend. We've got obviously a little beef dish, which I know that we put out earlier on LinkedIn, on my LinkedIn profile. This has come from finding a product growing by the roadside in a tree and picking it, and then what we're going to do with it next, and hopefully you'll see for the guests that are going to eat in C&D this weekend, they'll see what we've done with it, because it's tasty.
How does it usually start for the match day prep?
Chaos. No, to be fair, we, like a lot of football clubs, we match day -4. We can start doing things where we can, marinate our meats and make sure if we're doing some beautiful meat that we're prepping it ourselves, which is one thing. Going back to the wastage, if we, a lot of places buy their own meat and it's already done for them. We try and do a lot of our own butchery. We can use the leftovers, the trimmings. So for staff have got to eat, but stocks and sauces and other elements. My menus are known to have a bonbon or a croquette or something like that, certainly on the fine dining elements, just because I like that texture feel. And that's coming from normal pieces that are leftover wastage that we would cut, we wouldn't actually see. So we try and utilize them. So we start match day -4. We work our way all the way down, 4, 3, 2, 1. obviously we get to -1 on a Friday, and we're looking at moving food into kitchens, and we're looking at herbs and fish, all the little elements that are the bits that make the difference, and the real gentle stuff. By doing that 4 days out, the day of the match day is all about the customer experience. So I don't want the chefs running around. I want them to cook beautifully. I want them to cook without pressure, and then it's all about what's on the plate, how it tastes, how it looks, and then obviously the customer expectation we hope to smash.
And then the early kickoffs as well that we are doing, I believe that you have a bit more of a breakfast option for the menu as well.
Yeah, and we've been asked a lot of questions about breakfast. And obviously it's a tricky game. It's at 12:30 kickoff. You're sort of in that, or should I have breakfast before I go? Do I have lunch? Do I have an early lunch? So, obviously the doors open 10:30. We try and put a breakfast on. This year we've got some new ideas where hopefully, and I think there is a breakfast game coming up in a couple of weeks, where the 95 Prem Lounge will be more of a hotel style breakfast. So you'll get a full English. You'll be able to get continental cheeses and meats and fruits, and we've got things like crumpets and waffles, all the things that you can get, and then some. Some of the things that we actually like as chefs, where we go, what, we're thinking about kids as well. We're thinking about people that try things, who are willing to try different things. We're also in the Jack's Lounge. We do the ultimate breakfast balm now, which is basically McDonald's meets Weatherspoons, where you get, you don't get the pint. Well, you can have the pint at that time, which obviously a number will. And then with regard to our fine dining lounge and the boxes and stuff like that, what we try and do is we do things the other way around. So we obviously open up with a bread. We always open up with a bread. And we make sure this is a sweet bread. So a sweet bread with sweet butter. So it may be a sultana bread, and we may do it with some, locally whipped apple butter. And we work through the breakfast. So you're thinking about the time you're having that, the 10:30, 11. You're going into, a bit of a breakfast element. You're moving throughout into kickoff time at 12:30. So when you come back in, you're going to have a nice dessert. But your post-match, we're finishing with a pie.
So tell me a little bit more about the upcoming season with the Around the World in 23 games.
Okay. So
you've touched on it, but go on.
Yeah, so Around the World in 23 games. So our hospitality boxes, we have 15 boxes up in Red Rose. I think they're some of the best views in the ground. And I think when I came in, we had this feel of, we'll do a pie in there, or we'll do a pie in there, or we'll do a pie in there. And it was always a pie. I've said it 4 times now in a row, but it really was. And we looked at that towards the end of last season, and I had a conversation with the club about what I wanted to do in a box, and they said, "Well, give it a go." And we trialed some new serviceware in a specific box, got some fantastic feedback. Around the World in 23 games, that gives us 1 cup game and obviously the league games, and it was literally about going to some of these places where you wouldn't necessarily eat, Indonesia and Sri Lanka, and bring in those dishes. And we've got to remember, they're not rocket science dishes. They are beautiful dishes using a lot of the same products that we use, just cooked in a different way. So we've brought that in, where you'll get your protein, and you'll get obviously a carb and some vegetables and stuff like that. But we offer a salad with it. So there's 3 different salads or bites. There's a bread that's tied into that as well. So everything's about actually just having an experience. Also adding into that, there's nothing worse than arriving somewhere, and very much like me, moving my hands and talking to you, is you go into a box and you're waiting for everybody else to arrive, and you're like, what do I do? I've got a pint. What do I do? And we've put bar snacks in there. So the likes of the barbecue crunch and popcorn and giant salted corn. And the reason for that is you can graze it whenever you want on those. And we added a sweet jar as well. So we can get everybody likes a sweet as well. And you can graze on them throughout the game, half time, before the game. But what we've also found, which is really good, is that a lot of people are getting the jars and putting them on the table after the game and actually talking football. which is really good because I'm able to get round. Some of my team get round, and we start talking to them, and it's great because you're sort of creating a culture of, we're in it together. We are Blackburn Rovers. We're in it together. The fans are in it. We're in it. We just want to have the best experience.
Well, Stuart, it's been lovely sitting down talking to you. And I can't wait to see what surprises you've got in store for us this season.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Thanks very much.